I am doing great, Jacob. Thank you so much for that. And it's nice to see some both familiar and new faces in this audience. So thank you for coming today. I realize that, there's all sorts of social media webinars that you can attend online, all sorts of articles you can read, but there was never anything specific to like, how do you do social media if you're a nonprofit or business district? It's a little bit different. There are multiple audiences. What do I put on there? I'm a volunteer. I only have X number of hours. Like it can be both super intimidating and also hard to figure out, what should I post? So what I'm going to go through today, I've got a pretty long slideshow, but a lot of it is visual examples of where I start. So in my previous career, before I did social media, I did apparel and textiles, and a lot of that had to do with branding. So I'm going to start with branding, and we're going to move through like just day-to-day posts. And I realize a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you, you're going to think, well, that's way too complicated for me, or I'm not a graphic artist, or whatever that is. You don't have to be. It's just about putting out good content out there and knowing your audience. So should we get started? Yes, I think we should. And if you came late, if you are able to change your name on your screen to your name and your district or organization, that's nice. It just helps me kind of know who I'm talking to. If you can't do it, that's totally fine too. And I am going to share my screen right now. All right, it's nice and bright, so you're going to stay away. Can you guys see that? You're good? Okay.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's a little big for me, but all right. All right. So social media for business districts. Here we go. Now, I told you I was going to talk about brand. So brand identity. So when we talk about brands, it's not just about like logo and fonts and all that stuff. It's like, who are you? A lot of people don't even know what a business association is, honestly. So you think about like most business associations and organizations have a mission. That one is important. But along with that is your values. Do you value community? Do you value advocacy? Do you value inclusiveness? Those type of things. That if you have a board, that's worth going through with your board. What are our core values? Because that will drive your content. We want to show solidarity, support. We are enthusiastic. We are whatever those values come up to be. And it can be as simple as like a whiteboard exercise that you do for 20 minutes. Those will really drive you. And actually, it's a very interesting exercise to see what the different people in your organization think your values are, and then what you come together as a group to decide they are. But you'll find it's very connecting to decide on your values together. And then what is your passion? All districts are unique and have a character, and your organization is unique. So what is your district or area known for, or what is the flavor of it? And then what does your organization do within it? So say you are known for restaurants and your organization is known for, really promoting restaurants or doing food tours or whatever that is. You want to drive your passion, and that'll change as the leadership in your organization changes, but don't be afraid to get that out there. I think it's really important just to show who you are, right? And don't forget your location. A lot of times in example, the bio line in Instagram, it'll say serving, like, for example, it says serving the businesses in St. John's. If I said that, well, there's a St. John's in like Newfoundland. So oftentimes, people will get confused, just because somebody comes across on an Instagram, they're not going to automatically know you're in Portland, Oregon. They don't know that, Hawthorne or Lents, like there could be other Hawthorns or Lentses, right? So don't forget your location, and don't forget that you're in Portland. It's part of the larger character of who we are. Okay. That being said, the basics of brand are your tagline, your logo, your colors, and your fonts. So your tagline is really important. It's different than your mission. Your mission is like who you are and what you do and who you do it for, kind of thing. The tagline is like, it's just like an advertising tagline, like Coke adds life or whatever, that is. For St. John's, and I'm going to use a lot of St. John's examples, our tagline is small town in the big city. That's what drives my content. I want to show that we're like a small town, we're like this little hamlet, but we're in the city of Portland. And that's the characterization and flavor I always try to give my posts. The logo, if you have a logo, use it, get it out there, put your logo on your graphics, put it places so people know who is putting this content out there. And then with colors, if you have certain colors that resonate with you or that are in your logo or in your brand, use those, use them on frames, on graphics, use them on, if you print up t-shirts, use them on that. It just adds some cohesiveness. And then fonts, if you have, it's very different if you use like Comic Sans font versus, Arial font. They're just very different. They give a different feeling. So when you're doing a graphic or something, it doesn't always have to be the same font, but think about a font that does work with the characterization you're building of your place. So I will show you some examples because everybody likes examples. So here is the St. John's Boosters logo. So of course, we're very lucky. We have a very visual asset, which is the St. John's Bridge, and you will see it a lot. So every time you see that, you pretty much know it's going to be something about St. John's, although the bridge is now so widely used, it's just associated with Portland, but we use it, we try to claim that as our symbols because it is in our district and it is the St. John's Bridge. So that's right there. And then the tagline's right underneath it, small town and big city. You automatically know what experience you're going to get, or we hope that you're going to get. And here's some different ways that we have used our logo and then also use some of the assets to give a similar flavor, but maybe morph it into the message we're trying to get across. So of course, we've got like on our boosters bucks, we had the St. John's logo in colors. We also did a series of graphics last year that had this vision of the bridge. Actually, it's the vision of the bridge leading from Forest Park into St. John's. So it has a very specific viewpoint. We use that here in the St. John's Together Pride graphic, and the Native Plant Park graphic, in the Spread the Love graphic we did for Valentine's Day. And then when we were getting banners done, we realized that our logo probably wasn't going to be that impactful on like a big banner. So we had a local artist do something similar, but a little bit more graphic. And we also used that in some of our marketing materials and on our banners and other places on our merchandise too. So you can see how they're not the same, but they're all pretty cohesive. You see a lot of green, a lot of blues. We like those colors. And then I told you that small town in the big city characterization is what I want people to see when they go to our page. So here's just some examples of what that feels like to me. Here's a pancake breakfast with some high school volunteers. Here's our traffic division building. That's a historical building. The clock that's in the middle of our plaza. Here is the Late Nick Fish visiting one of our stores during one of our holiday events. Some kids at our pumpkin giveaway. Our iconic marquee sign. The Decorate the Tree holiday event that we had going last year. Some business owners proudly standing in front of their business during the pandemic. That's the small town feel that I'd like you to get when you look at our social. And so that I do that a lot visually. What does it feel like to be in the district? So your audience, who the heck am I speaking to? I did a lot of thinking about this last year. Originally, when I first started doing the social media for St. John's, they're like, well, you're talking to our members, which are our member businesses. So we want to like put their promotions out there, and we want to make sure we highlight them. And, the bridge is iconic. So we have a lot of pictures of the bridge. But I thought, well, yes, okay, businesses are definitely a target audience, but we have this, what action do we want this audience to take? So you want businesses to maybe become a potential member or join you. You want businesses to see you, they know that you exist. But there's another audience, which is the residents and consumers and visitors and consumers that you want to take the action of purchasing something, visiting the district. So really what you're doing is you're amplifying what your businesses are already doing so that that wider audience, the consumers, can come and partake in your district, which creates a healthy district, right? And then secondarily, you want to show to potential members or board members or new businesses coming to town why you're there and what you do. Like, why would I want to be a part of this organization? What do they do? And what's St. John's like? Or maybe I have a business in Southeast and I'm thinking about opening a second one. I wonder what St. John's is like. It's great if they can go to your page and get a feeling for that. So when I take on new board members, or when we have our board retreat every year, I remind them, you are the ambassadors of St. John's. That's who you are 24/7. Somebody has a question about St. John's, if somebody wants to know what it's like, or, you know, who's going to have the most community pride and have the most knowledge, that's you. We're going to be that's us. We're the experts in that. So I almost think of it as if we're like the concierge of our district. We know where to go, how to get there, what you need to know about going there. We know our history. We know the fun facts and hidden gems and like locals only places to go. We have personal connections. We're right on top of all of the resources, both for people and for businesses. And we know all the events that are going on. It's almost like being just the hub of information for anybody wanting to know anything about your district. And showing the knowledge and showing that we take the time to get the knowledge, provide the links, give you a little bit of insider information, highlight, you know, what we think is special about our district, makes us the perfect concierge. Let us help you with that. Let us give you the link to that. Let us show you that there's a class in this. That's how I think of it. I think of it as being a concierge. It's like you're doing a virtual tour every single day. This is what it's like to be here. Here's who you can patronize. Hey, did you ever know that there were businesses down this street? Let us show you who they are. All right. So people always ask me, like, I don't know what to post. So as the primary promoters of the district and all that's in it, there's a lot of different stuff you can post. When there's a new business in town, let people know, hey, there's a new business in town. When a business has an anniversary, or especially a significant anniversary, we had a business in St. John's that I think the year before last had like their 79th anniversary or something like that. Shout out about that. Do a little storytelling about that business and how they got there and what they've been doing for those 79 years. But even like a first anniversary is very special. A fifth anniversary is special. You know, highlighting their anniversaries and saying you really appreciate having them there is a really wonderful way to showcase your businesses. Highlighting the owners and the staff, letting people get to know them is a really great way to just make people feel connected to the businesses in a very personal way. Sharing their events and promotions, for sure, they always appreciate that. And then offering connection. So we last year started a group page for business owners on Facebook. And it's a private group page because oftentimes business owners want to talk to each other privately about stuff in a very different way than they would speak on a public forum. So it's like, I got robbed 3 times last month, or I need a plumber today, or whatever the need is, or what, hey you guys, I'm closing my store and I've got a bunch of fixtures to sell, I wanted to offer them to you first, whatever the thing is. And it's not always the bright sunshiny stuff that they put in their online marketing. I find it's a really great way for them to connect. And the page kind of runs itself. And also, if I hear about something, I'll put it on that page first to be like, hey, these grants just opened up, just wanted you guys to know. Or funding has opened up, just wanted you guys to know first. So it's more interactive. And I found it really great, especially during the pandemic, to be able to talk to people rather just throwing stuff on a page and just, waiting for comments. And then online mixers or in-person mixers are really great. So you're offering that kind of connection. And then again, resources for business owners, like some of the stuff that I was telling you about, articles, or, hey, I heard that this business is coming to the area. Has anybody heard anything about this? Just those really great, like, insider conversations. So what does the culture of your district look like? So I looked at a bunch of different business association Instagram pages. And one of the things that I found across the board was that I didn't see as much as I wanted to was people. I saw a lot of shared posts, which is great. And as I said, it's really great to be able to share stuff, but I wasn't really getting a sense of like who the people were and what they were doing. And I will tell you right now, sorry, somebody at my door. I will tell you right now that the people posts do the best. The graphic posts are fine, but the posts with the people in them make people feel good and make them feel connected, and they do the best. So here's just some things in St. John's that I show. Here's, a board outing. This was a cleanup. This was at the Jazz Festival. We had a booth and we gave away some prizes. This is when Mayor Wheeler came and talked to the district. This was during our pumpkin giveaway. And then this was a mixer. So it's just showing kind of like, we're out there. This is what we're doing. This is what it feels to be like doing what we're doing. And here's the people who are doing it. I mean, oftentimes I will have no idea like who's this board, or who are these people, or I don't know who's talking to me. I have no idea who this page is that's talking to me. It's just a name. So pictures are really important. So how are we going to shout out all this great information, all these pictures? Well, here's where you have some choices. The first one I always go to is your website, because what social media is it's an amplifier and a way to get people to take some kind of an action. And oftentimes that action is on your website, whether it's donate, join, read more, whatever you want them to do. You want to have a functioning website so that they have something concrete to go back to. So that's the first thing. And your website should have all that great information, the history of your organization, who you are, what you do. Maybe it has your list of board members. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be, functional and informational and up to date. The email newsletter, great way to get the word directly into your members' inboxes. And again, you can share recordings of meetings. You can share when the next meeting is. You can share opportunities that come up. That email newsletter is a great way to get that out there. And plus you can have interaction with them on email. And then we get to social media and everybody gets overwhelmed immediately. They're like, oh my gosh, there's so many channels. There's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's LinkedIn, there's YouTube. So as a social media manager, I'm used to floating between all of these. You all are probably not social media managers. You probably don't do this as your work, and either you or a volunteer are the ones doing this work. It seems like a lot to do all these, and I'm here to tell you, you don't have to. Pick a channel. I'd say pick Instagram. Consider a secondary one. I say pick YouTube. So Instagram is where most businesses have gravitated to. So you want to be both where your audience is, and you want to be where your secondary audience is. So if you're going to share posts, and most of your businesses are posting on Instagram, kind of makes sense for you to be on Instagram, right? The other thing about Instagram is that they have done a very good job of representing other channels within Instagram. So for example, there's something called Reels, which are very similar to TikTok. And then there are stories, which I personally love, very easy way to share information and give a quick visual snapshot. There's Instagram TV, which you can do a video of any length. It can be a 30-minute video. Most people don't know that. That's their competitor for YouTube. So I have used Instagram a ton in the last year. You can also have it like directly post your Facebook, but even if you can't get to that point, just do your Instagram. A lot of people have a hard time with the time it takes to do Instagram. I would say, again, go to your stories. If there's a band playing that night, you click the arrow button, you share it to your story, you tag the business, you shared it. It took 2 seconds. You don't have to put everything in the main body of the feed. And businesses really appreciate it when you share their content. And then YouTube, don't forget about YouTube. YouTube is one of those ones when we talk about social, people forget to talk about, but YouTube is really important. And I imagine there's somebody who's going to be watching this on YouTube right now because they couldn't make the meeting. What if it hadn't been on YouTube? You would never get the content, right? YouTube's important. So you're already creating the content in Instagram or in some kind of video platform. Put it on your YouTube channel, and then you've got this great library that you can share links with people quite easily. And YouTube, it's very easy to use and upload. It doesn't take long. It's one of my favorite platforms. And when people are doing searches, they mostly search YouTube. All right. Everybody doing okay so far? I know I'm talking a lot and fast, but I have a lot to say. All right. So what am I going to post? Oh my gosh, what am I going to post? Well, if you attended my other webinar, one of the things that I recommend is doing a calendar for social media. It doesn't have to be fancy. I just do mine like in Google Sheets, and it just outlines the month, and you can put like holidays on there, and you can be like, oh yeah, it is, you know, St. John's Deli 6-year anniversary. I want to make sure I do a post then. It just helps you with a little bit of that kind of planning. And especially if you're sharing the social media duties with somebody else, you can make sure that you're covering everything. So I really believe in the calendar. So again, what are you going to post? Well, you can share content. That means sharing content from both your businesses or other organizations or other marketing campaigns. You don't have to invent every marketing campaign. There's a lot of really good ones out there. And if you share it, you've got a great graphic and a great message that you didn't have to invent. And I'll show you examples of those coming up. Campaigns. So this is like your own campaign. So maybe you did like a hashtag campaign, or, you know, I told you guys about the hashtag St. John's Together. We use that a lot. That's what I call a campaign, some kind of marketing campaign. So you can share those. You can do different iterations of them. Those are kind of fun to think about. And again, it sends a message. Ours was hashtag St. John's Together to show like solidarity with the community and the businesses during the pandemic. Just support each other, be kind to each other. You know, that was the message we wanted to give out. And we still use that. And now other people use that hashtag. To me, that means the hashtag is successful. People resonate with it and they're using it. Theme of the day, theme of the month. You have seen these all over. National Hot Dog Day, National Beer Day, Women's History Month. They can go from the, like, you know, the absurd to the serious. But again, this is where the calendar comes into play. You don't want to have to be reactive with your social media and be like, oh yeah, it's National Peanut Butter Day and I wanted to get something out. Quick, do a post. It's really nice to be in front of that and to kind of have it planned so that you can get it out that day and you're done, rather than, oh no, I missed National Fried Chicken Day, you know, whatever that is. And again, they can go from the very serious Martin Luther King Day to, you know, National Chocolate Donut Day, very specific. And then and I'll show you some graphics too about how I do sort of the theme of the month. Promoting events. They don't have to be your events. You're just letting people know what's going on. And giving them the channel for how to find out more information. So for example, post about the St. John's Comedy Festival, go to stjohnscomedyfest.com for more information so that they know how to buy tickets, take that action, do the thing, right? Online events, Instagram live events, Zoom webinars, whatever that is, you can post about those. Fundraising. That's a big one, especially for, you know, our nonprofits. How do we do fundraising? You can do them in your social media. You can do silent auctions. You can do, you know, please donate and send them back to your website to a donate button. There's lots of ways to do fundraising. You can do, yeah, there's all fundraising. Fundraising is a hard one, but honestly, oftentimes the online ones are very, very successful because more people are seeing them, bidding on them. Yeah, it can be a very successful channel for you to do fundraising. And then history and fun facts. Sometimes if you like can't think of something to do that week, a throwback Thursday or just history of a building or a business that used to be in your district is really interesting to people. And with so many people moving, a ton of people moved in the last year, you have a lot of new people in your district probably who don't know anything about it. So if you can give them a little history, it's fun for them. And then for the people who live there, that instills that sense of pride and place. That's really important for them to have pride in the district as well. A call to action, please join, sign up today, volunteer, tune in, you know, whatever your call to action is, make sure that it's a really clear call to action. And then don't forget to spotlight your volunteers. including your board. Like, thank you to Tom and Mary for, manning the booth during the art festival. We really appreciate you. Or thank you for this organization for painting the sidewalk with this beautiful mural. It adds so much to the district. Make sure you go see it. People really, really appreciate that. So sharing, I'm going to show you a whole bunch of examples. So sharing content. These were the ones where I said, you don't have to create every campaign for your district. Here's a bunch that I shared that did great. One was from PDX SOS, Love Letters to Small Businesses, is encouraging people to really shout out about what they love about some of their favorite small businesses. There's the Here for Portland campaign, just reminding people to support all of our different businesses and organizations. This one is going on right now, which is the Shop Small PDX campaign from Prosper Portland, and they're doing it by district. So if you didn't know about it, your district may have already been highlighted. It includes this graphic and then a bunch of like shout outs to different businesses. It's a really, really nice campaign. And I can't tell you how good it feels to me to have my district have its name on there. And then I can share that. That felt really cool to me. Like, wow, I felt like we were really seen, as well as all the other districts. And it also let me get familiar with some of the districts that I didn't know that well. I thought that, I think it's a really clever campaign, and it feels really personal, and I love that. And that was so fun to share, and the businesses so appreciated it. And then Small Business Saturday, that's been going on forever, but you can always put that one out there. It's again, reinforcing shopping local. When you buy from a small business, you buy from a person, kind of thing. And then there's the informational content. So boy, we've got a lot of that. So masks back on Friday, don't have fireworks. Here's what you do to beat the heat. Cleanup is happening. Food truck industry webinar coming up. Pizza week. Plenty of that informational stuff to share. And I'm always surprised, because I follow social a lot. I'm like, oh, people already know about this or that. Oftentimes they're like, oh, well, thanks for posting this. I had no idea. Great. That means that you're now seeing me as a resource for information. Good. I'm a good concierge. And then here's what I'm talking about when I talk about campaigns. Now, I personally loved Venture Portland's I Am a Small Business campaign, so much so that we not only turned it into doing it in our own business district, we turned it into an Instagram live series. I love this campaign. And not only did I love it, the small businesses loved it. They actually asked us if they could get posters of these printed out to put in their businesses. That's how much they loved it. It's very to the point. It's person focused. It's got the pertinent information on there, and it's just visually very appealing. The St. John's Together campaign that I told you about is not only a hashtag, we included a secondary graphic that you could slide over to during like the most lockdown part of the pandemic to say how you can support a business right now. Because people were like, I want to support, but I don't know how. And we didn't want to encourage people to go out and gather because we didn't know at that time whether that was safe. So we were just like, okay, here's how you can show your support to your small businesses right now, sitting at home, not contacting with anybody. We did a holiday gift guide by category. That was just one idea. We did a Stay Well St. John's campaign, which was really basically leading people back to our website to this giant spreadsheet we created, showing people by category, like every single business, what their website was, if they were food business, what delivery services they used, and their phone number. So you could be like, who am I going to order from tonight? And you could just search that list and click right on it. We were trying to make it easy for people to support businesses while staying safe. And that was also very similar to how we did Takeout Tuesday, being like, hey, it's Takeout Tuesday. Make sure you go back to that cool list that we made for you, and you can figure out what the new hours are, if they can do curbside pickup, all that good stuff. There's another district, I want to say it's Multnomah, I'm not sure, but they're doing like a No Cook Wednesday kind of thing. I've seen some really other good campaigns out there as well that I like. And then the theme of the day of the month are just, National Beer Day. I think everyone in Portland can probably get on board with that one. We are definitely a beer city. So we just made a simple little graphic to go with that, but you could use existing graphics, or you could go to Canva and just find one. We did a Valentine's Love is in the Air one, just using our logo. Not a complicated graphic. This Celebrating Women's History Month, I really liked, and we happen to have a lot of women-owned businesses, which is one of the sort of unique things about our district, and we want to continue to celebrate and support that. So I created this graphic just again from a really simple Canva graphic, and then I created a Facebook cover size of it to do as our cover photo for the full month. So not only was it going out that one day as just like an Instagram post, I just had it as our cover photo to remind people, hey, it's Women's History Month all month. You know, let's talk about great women in history who paved the way for, you know, us to do what we do today, and also the great women-owned businesses in St. John's. We did Juneteenth. For the Super Bowl, again, we were in that weird place where it was like, how can you celebrate the Super Bowl? We can't, you know, like all gather in a sports bar. So we just came up with like 7 things that you could do. And it was just a helpful little list. And people love like top 10 lists, top 10 things you can, unusual Valentine's Day gifts, or experiential gifts, or, you know, just they love those little quick snippets of information. So that didn't take long, again, to put together, and it was just kind of fun. And then promoting events. These are just some of the recent events that we have, going from a very complex graphic and poster that our intern did to the St. John's Art Walk and Comedy Festival, which weren't even our events. We just helped promote them. To a very simple last minute cleanup event that we had, like a cleanup emergency in the district. And so somebody on the neighborhood association just threw that together, and that was great. It was just a quick call to action, and we got all the volunteers we needed within a couple of hours. All right. Online events. So this is one that we run called St. John's Bites. And it's a very simple event where for a period of time, in this case, it was 4:20 to 5:20. And yes, we did pick 4:20 on purpose. You could go, and all you have to do is take a picture of a food or drink in a place in St. John's or in your home if you got takeout. You post it to Instagram using the hashtag St. John's Bites. Every single week, we review all the posts. And then we pick one winner or 3 winners out of that week, and we each give them a $50 gift certificate to the business in their post. So this is I think we're going to be on our 4th time running this event this fall. And it's a really successful event. We get lots of posts. I mean, over 100 people usually participate. They love when they win the prizes. The businesses get, even if somebody doesn't win with their picture, they're getting that like free organic marketing. And people love seeing pictures of food, people enjoying food. It just adds a lot of very positive content. And again, you can do pickup, takeout, delivery. You know, you could be like a bottle of wine you had delivered from the wine shop. It doesn't have to be like a set meal, right? And it's really fun to be able to give out some prizes and put some money back in the district. And people, and you know, we had a lot of fun coming up with the name, and we took our banner graphic and just had a bite taken out of it and added a fork and a knife. But again, you could do it very simply. It doesn't have to be a professionally designed graphic. And then it's always nice to see people like actually participating in the event. Like, what does that look like? And then there's the live online events. So I mentioned to you guys that I did the I Am a Small Business interview series. It's so fun. It's a really easy one to do on Instagram. And I learned so much about businesses that even I thought I knew very well just by having like a 20 to 30-minute conversation with them. And oh my gosh, there were like technical difficulties, or my dogs were barking and the mail came, and people get very intimidated thinking that they have to be like super professional and buttoned up. Nope, it's just 2 people talking on a platform. And the more like real it is, the more people relate to it. So, and it's also a really nice way to highlight the businesses in a different way. But the key, again, is taking those interviews and putting them on our YouTube channel. So now all that content lives there. So now those businesses can use that content, or you can say, hey, that we did a bunch of interviews, go to YouTube and see them. It's just a really good way to sort of archive all of that, and it doesn't take long to do. And then we also had like a lunch and learn series where we had different business owners just talk about different skills that they had. This one in particular was about getting loans done, and that lives on our YouTube now also. Here's just some fundraising that we've done. We have a Light Up St. John's campaign every year, which is to help pay for the lights in the district. And we had a roundup campaign at one of our businesses at St. John's Ace. And then we also did a booth at the Jazz Festival with a prize drawing, and all the proceeds for buying raffle tickets went back to the same campaign. So you can see how they look similar. It's a little bit different, but they have the similar, graphic and visual. And again, it was just some picture I took during the tree lighting event. So it wasn't anything fancy. And that helped raise lots of money. We actually, Ace Hardware, I think, raised over $2,000 with that roundup campaign that year. And that was just getting people, with their receipt to like round up, to the next dollar amount. So that was amazing. And then history and fun facts. Everybody loves these old pictures. It gives them this nostalgic feeling. It's about the history of Portland, the building of the bridge, the businesses that used to be in the district. History is a complicated subject right now. So I would say highlight all history, good, not so good, just acknowledge all your history. But people do like talking about what came before, or, hey, what used to be in this space? Why is that called the whatever building? Or, why is this marker on the sidewalk? What did that mean? Who was there? They like that kind of information. And in that way, you can kind of be like a little bit of a tour guide. Like, hey, let me take you and show you in 1931 when this bridge was built and what that looked like. Or why is it called Cathedral Park? Or, why is the street was called Jersey Street at one time and now it's called Lombard Street? Give people some knowledge. They love it. Just little snippets. Doesn't have to be a lot. And then here's some calls to action. Renew your membership to secure a place on our new map. I really like the You Are Not Alone campaign, saying, and again, it's a call to action. Join your local business association today. Volunteers needed for a plaza cleanup. Sign up to be for our service of our St. John's virtual marketing squad. These are all like, do something. We're putting something out there and we want you to do something, and here's the way to do it. And then do not forget your amazing volunteers. People love seeing people doing good things. It makes them feel good about where they are. And it also encourages people to get out there and do it themselves. And the volunteers who do it feel, wow, I feel really acknowledged that, they thought enough to put my picture up there of me volunteering. So don't forget the people pictures. They are the best ones. This is like us working on the native plant garden. These are two volunteers who built a lending library out of the old phone box on the plaza. This was at a tree lighting event. This was a membership drive. This was a pancake event. This was a cleanup. Just doing all the things. It feels very active. It feels very good. And then that sense of community, like what does it feel like to be in the district? That's the other thing. I don't see a lot in business district social media campaigns, and I am guilty of this too. I don't see a lot of streetscape pictures. Like, what does it look like to walk down that street? Oftentimes I look and I see no idea. I have to like go to Google and look for pictures of what does XYZ district look like. So don't forget to, it's a Thursday and you can just point your camera down the street or have somebody do it and show what the street looks like on a Thursday. Or the leaves are changing. So how beautiful it looks when the leaves are changing. Or what does the district look like covered with snow? It's easy to forget those pictures because you're in it. But imagine somebody looking from the outside and wanting to get the experience of it. And then cleanups are always really good ones. This was the comedy festival. This was a pop-up park where they showed movies on the wall. Like, oh, they're just such feel-good pictures. An art walk, our scavenger hunt for Halloween. This was the most recent art walk. And they give me good feelings, and some of these just happened. So it's like, yeah, spread those good feelings. And then remember to show your small business community. So this was our yearly elections one year, and we held up the graphic, the Shop Local graphic from Venture Portland. We all did it together. That was really fun. It was like, yay, we're this team, we're committed. This is what one of our membership meetings look like. We meet in a restaurant. We sit around a table. We order breakfast together. The meetings are at 7:15 a.m. We're not doing them now or on Zoom, but that's what they normally look like. And it just, again, has that small town and big city feeling, right? Going right back to that tagline. This was an event that we did for all the women-owned businesses. That was really fun and created a lot of great memories and feelings. And it's like, wow, if I'm a woman-owned businesses, look, there's my group right there. That's fun that they do that, right? And then don't forget your board. Don't forget to show who the people are behind the organization doing all the things. Sometimes you're at a mixer volunteering. This was when we were at a board retreat. And, you know, it's a little weird in the middle of the retreat for me to get up and be like, okay, I'm taking a picture now. You have to be really intentional about it. And sometimes it's like, oh no, the selfie person is here again. Yeah, you're going to have that minute of feeling a little bit awkward. However, it is so great to have these pictures to put on our website or to put on our social to show who we are and what we do. And it also hopefully gives a feeling for what it's like to work with us. You know, I'm always laughing at something. So somebody took this picture, I'm in the middle of laughing. I'm like, yeah, that's the picture I want to have, because that's how it feels, right? That's our intern. You know, I want to make sure we call out our intern who has done tons of our graphics and, you know, to show our gratitude and also show that we have interns, right? One of my favorite quotes, be yourself, everyone else is already taken. So you don't want to look like another district or another something. Show what is unique about you. Now, I took some examples. I told you I scouted all over the internet to look at different business association, social media, mostly Instagram. And I pulled out some things and I'm like, oh, this is good. This resonates with me. So I thought I would share those with you as well. So this was from Stadium District. This was recent. I love the mood of this picture, and it also speaks to the Stadium District. And it also has a call to action. So it's like, Timbers fans, clearly, this is who this post is for. Hey, we're having an event. Here's where it is. Here's when it is. Come join us. And hey, you can enter and win in a raffle. I'm already excited. I'm not even a Timbers fan. I mean, not a Timbers fan, but I'm like, I want to join this fun thing with these fun people. That looks great. Here's another one from Alberta Main Street. So Alberta has a very artsy feeling, a lot of diversity. There's a business there who does these, it's Blind Insect does these barrio events where they have like music and art and gatherings. I just thought this was such a great post. Just again, they didn't have to write the post, but it's fun, it's edgy, it's arty, and it's like, obviously the person who did the post was excited about it. Like, hey, this is going on tonight. Come join. That got me excited about it. I'm like, this is cool. That looks like fun. Here's one from Central East Side that I loved. So the first thing that caught my eye was the graphic, just showing the different type of businesses. Explore Central East Side. Like, that's great. I really should go over there and, you know, see what different businesses there are. And then I looked at the caption and said, oh, they've created a map. How great is that? Now I can click on here and get a map, and oh my gosh, they also have a call to action. Tag us in the photo and let us know where you've been. Cool. That's great. I will pause here for a moment about hashtags. I think hashtags are great. They are not the most important thing. If you are very intimidated by hashtags, I have two pieces of advice. Don't do them, or create a series of hashtags that you use every single time, put it in a document so you can just cut and paste it onto your caption every single time. You don't have to hashtag spell out every single one. That's my advice to you there, because people get real intimidated about hashtags. They do help people find you, but don't not do a post because you can't think of the hashtags. Content is the most important thing. And then
can I ask a quick question about that, please?
Sure.
Okay, I actually, we had done that with the document of hashtags, and apparently through Instagram, we had gotten what's called shadow banned. So I just wanted to ask a question about that with the hashtags. Is that a common thing that happens?
I've never heard that term before. What did they tell you that means?
Essentially what happens is your content stops showing up in other people's news feeds. So you don't know that it's happening to you. You'll just notice an extreme drop in online traffic and views and likes and things like that.
And it's because you used hashtags?
It's because we used the same exact hashtags on every single post that we were making. And I think what what happens is when Instagram.
Gotcha. So then in that case, I would say use the same ones and change one or do a unique one at the end that has something to do with your post.
Okay, thank you.
I didn't even know that they did that.
Yeah, that is a thing.
Well, I know they're trying to not have, the bots on there, and I understand that. And social media is always fluid, so new things are always happening. That has not happened to me, but that is good to know. So I appreciate that. But like I said, and if like hashtags are great, but they're not the most important thing. So if you don't want to do them, just like you're scared by the shadow thing, just don't do them. You can do them later. You can do them not at all. Don't worry about it. I love this post from Hawthorne. It really gives me the sense of place. And I thought the caption was nice. Like, what's the first thing you're going to do when we open back up? This was from last year. And I'm like, yeah, I love it. It was very connecting. It gave me a sense of place. It's an iconic like fixture in Hawthorne. I just thought that was a great post. Here's one from Multnomah Village. So again, I was talking about graphics, how they don't have to be complicated. So this is a picture with the pertinent information. That's not a difficult graphic, but it gives me a sense of what the event is going to be like. Ooh, that looks fun. Like that looks fun and something I might want to participate in. And it gives me all the information right there. And that probably didn't take somebody that long to put together. So again, you don't have to be a graphic designer, but pictures, if you have a good library of pictures, that's a good time to pull one out. I love the in-process photos. I think those are really good. So Foster was doing a project to get more planters and more greenery in the district. And here's an in-process photo. It shows a volunteer. It thanks the people who donated. And again, it just feels like there's movement and liveliness in the district. Something is happening. And you want to point it to you like, we are doing a thing and we would like you to know about it. It's good. So when people ask you, well, so what is your district? You can be like, well, do you remember this? We did this thing. I'll show you right here. It's in the pictures. Lots of people like that one, 202. And then here's one from Kenton, who I definitely think does a great job with that sense of place. They also happen to have the very iconic Paul Bunyan. So you always know if it's that picture of that Paul Bunyan statue, it's probably something from Kenton. They normally do a district-wide like yard sale. They're not running it this year. Someone else is, I think the neighborhood association, but they just decided to be the source of information. Here's what we got. Here's when it is. Here's where you go. There you go. Source of information, and very much in, knowing that it's in Kenton. And that's just a picture that someone's faded out and put a bunch of text on it. Not difficult. And that is the end of my presentation. Wow. I didn't know if that was 33 slides, you guys. I was like, boy, I'm going to have to this much per slide. But yeah, that's why I had so many visuals too, because I can talk a lot and I can say words and give suggestions, but unless I show you an example of what I'm talking about, it just doesn't really mean anything. And again, this is like the gamut of what you could do, but you can only do what you have bandwidth to do or what your volunteer can do. So pick something. Instagram, I'm going to share posts from businesses and do a couple of fundraising posts, whatever that is. Or I'm going to go in the district one day and take a whole bunch of pictures and share them over time. Or I'm going to do a live video of myself walking through the district. I don't know. There's no wrong. It's just do something. What makes me sad is when I see like an Instagram page that at one time had content and then it has nothing. And I know that happened a lot during the pandemic because people didn't have volunteer capacity. They didn't know what to post about. I know a lot of people were scared to post, especially about like regulations, which were changing all the time. They didn't want to be wrong. Or I know I struggled with like, how do I promote people going out and going to restaurants when people should be staying at home? Like it was very confusing messaging for me. But I just had to like be brave and say, here, I'm giving you options. I'm letting you know what businesses are doing. You choose what you think is right. Here's also the regulations that they're recommending. I'm just a conduit for sharing information. And you know what? Social media also, you can have repercussions from it. I came across a group conversation on one of our St. John's group pages where somebody was saying, hey, boosters, stop sharing about restaurants when we're all supposed to be, staying home. And I said, well, I'm sharing about, if you actually read the post, I'm sharing about closures, updated hours, curbside pickup, delivery. You choose what you're going to do with it. I'm just telling you what's available and what's not. So it can be controversial, especially during these times, but I believe it's better to say something than to silently say nothing, because people are looking to organizations like yours for direction and information. And since we're not like walking around like, sitting at the wine bar having conversations, this has to be the place where we do it, right? So it's like, okay, I'm going to put these things on the bulletin board. I'm going to share some pictures from the past, whatever that is. But sometimes, and again, when you see an inactive page, like an inactive, whatever social media page, you think, oh my gosh, did they go out of business or are they no longer? That's what people think. So again, just a little bit of something, a little bit of content is better than nothing. And I do have like 4 minutes for questions if you guys have any. So I am going to, if you could do the virtual hand raise or just like Nancy, raise your hand, that would be great. I'm going to go to Nancy first and she's waving her hand so frantically.
Sorry, well, we have a question, and that is, how do you draw people to your Instagram page when you have just kind of started it and are trying to get people to to look at it?
Well, again, think about who are you trying to draw? Like, are you trying to draw consumers? Are you trying to draw other businesses? And think of a way to engage them in your post. So if it's for a business, you tag them more than hashtagging, tag them, tag the business. Tag them either in the comments or tag them in the, and if you want somebody to repost your content, like oftentimes I want the neighborhood association to repost my content. I tag them in the post. Don't assume they're going to see it. So I'm like, hey, St. John's Neighborhood Association. They're like, cool. And like 5 minutes later, it's in their stories or it's on their Facebook or it's somewhere, because you have to help people share your content. And the more people share your content, the more people are going to join and see it. But you have to have content. Sometimes you're going to feel like you're posting to nobody. Again, don't make it too graphics heavy. Nobody wants to be like sold to constantly. They want to see people and call out those people's names. And if they have an Instagram handle, tag them. That's the best way, is the organic reach. And it's not about getting 700 followers. It's really creating a place where people want to be and being very clear about what that place is. And again, posts that do great are those history pictures. Like, for example, on Hawthorne, you guys have that great history book that came out. So you have tons of history to draw from.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, that's an awesome, there's so much good information there, and you have like a real place to go to get the info, right? Or Stadium District, you have so much with like your timber stuff, but I bet there's like also other businesses that we as consumers wouldn't know are there. Like what is there to do in the Stadium District, right? And I'm not trying to pick on businesses. I'm just trying to say, like, here's some ideas. Like, this is what I would want to know. What is going to make me in St. John's want to go visit your district? So I really liked, I did see on Stadium recently where you went to like the Hawthorne Fair. I thought that was really cool that you went to another district and highlighted them. And so maybe that encourages them to be like, hey, when you're having something, we'll support you too. And it's just showing we're all part of the Portland, this big family of Portland. We're all in this together, right? I thought that was really cool. Other questions?
Liz, I just had a question about some of the post types. So I loved your examples. I noticed it was a mix of original content and shared content. So I'm just wondering, how often should districts be posting, and what percentage breakdown should it be between original content and shared content?
Yeah, so this is interesting. When the pandemic started, I started putting everything in the main body of the Instagram post. So like, Stormbreaker would post something, I would share it in the Instagram post. That's before I got used to doing stories. So one way that I keep our main feed, not just like advertisements for everyone, which is fine, you can do that, but I actually like it to be, I would say about like 30% original content, 30% shared post and 30% informational. I kind of keep that balance, but I do share a ton of businesses, like their own promotions and the stories. I mean, I'm there like share. I probably do 15 a day. And I tag them so that they know I'm sharing their content. And they oftentimes will message me back and be like, thank you so much for sharing this. So it's both a dialogue, it's faster, and it doesn't make the feed seem very heavy. The other thing that can happen is I've had members come back and be like, hey, how come you never share my content? And then I go to their Instagram page and like the last content was in 2019. I'm like, well, because you don't have any. Or I say, well, if you have something new you want me to share, tag me. Just don't assume that I'm going to see it. I don't create my own algorithm, so just tag me. And the people who tag me, I'm like, cool, shared right away. It's awesome. Billy, you had a question.
I have it actually brought it up, and I saw that the Stadium District did a thing and tagged us, and that's awesome. We've just got our Instagram going again. The problem is there's like 5 others that have been on and off over the years. So we kind of had to start from scratch again. What's a good way to make sure people are going to the right one?
Well, I mean, that's where you can, think about celebrities, and that happens to them all the time. Just do
Right.
the official page of the Hawthorne Boulevard Business District. And then have your website there, because those other pages probably don't lead to your website, right? So you want to make sure that they know that you are the official.
Oh no, let me go to our website.
Yeah.
So which page is that
Yeah.
for Hawthorne?
So the official one is Hawthorne BLVD _ PDX.
Okay, that's good. You have
That's the
PDX in there.
I'll put it in the chat.
Yep, good.
I'll fix our post.
Oh, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I just
I
followed
love
you
that.
as well.
Yeah, that's great. Those are really good questions too. I've had that with seen that with other associations where like someone starts a page and then the someone volunteer like never passes on the password, or they just leave or whatever. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
we got to start over. Eventually, if you have really good content though, that other page will sort of fade to nothing and people will go for your original content, right? But just tag away, tag businesses, tag people, share it on your personal. Like I share a lot of stuff from my business district in my personal stories too, because that has the most reach of anything. If you want, if you're comfortable with that. Some people like to stay like very much behind the curtain, but just depends how you run your district. Time for maybe one more question. Does some of this seem doable to you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't have to be a professional, I promise. Just be yourselves. And you already love your district or you wouldn't be doing this. So just show it. Doesn't have to be fancy. Just walk down the street, show yourself with coffee, show the coffee by itself, doesn't matter. Just show yourself doing something in the district. And then also I had one more piece of advice during events. So I have all these great event photos, which is awesome. One of the reasons I have them is because I always assign someone to take photos that's not me. So I'm like, hey, XYZ volunteer is not really doing anything else. Can you be in charge of photos? Just make sure you get to every table and get a photo of the table. It takes them 10 minutes. Somebody's taking care of it. They don't have to be perfect. But then the worst thing is getting to the end of the event and be like, oh my God, no one took photos. We have no records of it. Because you will use those photos again and again, I promise. But assign it to someone else. It's really hard to run an event and take all the photos too. I've done it many times. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
What else? Was that helpful?
That was great. Thank you so much, Liz. I really appreciate it. And this is, I think, a new territory for a lot of people because business associations don't have a physical space. Coming up with content is a challenge, but you've shown that so many options. So I'll make sure to share the slide deck just so everybody has those examples they can refer back to. I just want to do a quick plug for our grants program. We are doing grants. They're due on September 17th. And if you are thinking about doing a marketing campaign via social media over the holidays, you could apply for funding to do that. And then my last plug is our next social media training is going to be September 29th. That's going to be with Liz again. We're going to be talking specifically about how food and beverage businesses can use social media effectively. So mark your calendars for that. More info to come. But thanks to Liz Smith of Busy Lizzie's social media. And I look forward to liking and sharing all of your posts. So go forth, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
Yep.